Hey everyone, welcome to my first video of Mix, Cook, and Talk. Today I'll be making a Mexican Mule burgers and talking about how I got into motorcycling. So this all started about a year after I moved to the Bay Area. One day I saw two of my coworkers show up with motorcycles, and they really showed me how easy it was to really get into it. I mean, I've always dreamed of owning one as a kid, but never really thought it was possible. It's pretty general knowledge that motorcycles are dangerous, but I did a lot of research and I even watched enough crash videos to really see what I was getting myself into. And even after all that, I decided to sign up for motorcycle school. I remember everything about those days at motorcycle school. Now, keep in mind, these bikes don't really look that heavy, but as a new rider, when you wrap your legs around it, straighten the bike up, it felt pretty heavy, even though they were just 200cc bikes that probably weighed around 250 pounds. But as soon as I pulled down the throttle and the engine was roaring and the bike started moving, I just got really excited. And I don't think I felt fear that day at all. It was just pure joy and excitement. And I'm pretty sure that was one of the happiest moments in my life. So before the class, I wasn't entirely sure if I was gonna buy a bike, but after that weekend, I just knew I needed one. So within a week, I got my riding waiver in the mail, went down to the DMV, and I officially got my motorcycle license. And the weekend after that, I went down to Moto Java, which was a used dealership in downtown SF. And I bought my first bike. It was a 2015 Honda CB300F. It was red and black, naked sport bike with about 27 horsepower. And it was the perfect bike for me. I mean, I had a matching helmet, matching jacket and gloves, all red and black, and it had the right amount of power that I can control as a new rider. But I think the biggest catch though that day was actually getting the bike home. So at the time I was actually living in Mountain View, and for anyone who didn't live in the Bay Area, Mountain View is actually about 1 to 2 hour car ride by the highway. And as a buyer, you could easily pay to have it shipped home. But anyone who rides know that as a rite of passage, you ride that bike home straight from the dealership. So I rode my first bike, which also happened to be my first vehicle, on the streets of the Bay Area, from San Francisco all the way down to Mountain View. I think it took me about 5 hours to actually get home, mostly because I kept stalling in the middle of traffic and getting lost because I didn't have a phone attachment on the bike. I really wish I could have taped New Rider onto my jacket, but that entire experience was still pretty awesome. I think because the motorcycle community was so big in the Bay Area, people really understood that it was my first day of riding. I even stalled in front of a huge bus, and the driver just waited for me to get right back up. I think to some people this might actually be scary, but for me it was actually really exciting and new. All I could think about this entire time were the places I could explore and really learning how to master riding a motorcycle. I mean, riding requires so much more attention than driving a car. It requires you to really trust your instincts, trust your skills, as well as trusting that your bike will keep you alive. Even after all that, I'd say probably no one is perfect. You're bound to make one mistake, and hopefully you live through it. I even went down on my first week of riding, but in my defense, it was my first vehicle. Anyways, thanks for watching. The Mexican meal tasted quite refreshing, and the burger was simple but pretty flavorful. Feel free to subscribe if you like what I'm producing. I'll be making more soon. See ya!